Best shirt I own.
What's happening, sports fans? We welcome you to another San Diego Prep Insider High School Preview Show where we take our best attempt to figure out what leagues are what and just thoroughly butcher everybody. And just, look, in a global pandemic, knowing who's in what league is not necessarily top of everyone's priority. But we're going to do our best to preview stuff and give you content to talk about. I am Christian Pedersen, the host. I think that I'm going to scroll left because we're doing our first ever one of these on Zoom. And we'll say hi to Bodie Da Silva. Bodie is Scorebook Live's official reporter for the San Diego CIF section. Scorebook Live is the official digital content provider of the state CIF. Tommy Morris is joining us as well. Tommy Morris.
I got a lot going on today.
Yeah, Tommy's currently getting bodied on Twitter.
I'm getting ratioed really badly. I'm on my third cup of cold brew. I bought one of those giant Starbucks ones, and it took me like a day and a half, 3 days, somewhere in between there. I don't even know. Days aren't things anymore to finish it. And this is my last bit of it. So I drink way too much coffee. I'm wearing my East Dillon t-shirt. I've got my St. Louis Battlehawks hat on. So I'm ready to talk some football. All
right, so Tommy brings up an interesting point, which we will put on the poll at SD Prep Insider. Are days things anymore?
No, I honestly have no idea. And I've been playing so much NCAA 14 that I've been drinking a bunch of coffee so that I can – I'm talking really fast, by the way, if you can't tell. And I've been drinking a bunch of coffee so I can stay up late and I get really into the games. We had a huge loss yesterday, and I haven't been able to play since because I'm so angry. I told you guys yesterday I'd be angry coming into today, so I tried to raise my spirits up. But I am furious at my kids.
I spent way too much time looking for that game.
You could probably buy it for like $10 online.
No. I swear Big Cat drove the price up. It's $150 on eBay.
So Are you kidding me? I should sell mine.
There are people selling the game package without the CD for $30.
Oh, I'm definitely doing that.
So here's the tip that you need.
I can buy more cold brew and I can stay it forever. It doesn't matter. Kids don't drink coffee ever. It is a steep slope here.
Tommy, here's what I got going on the coffee front. I got, for all you Game of Thrones fans out there, little Peter Dinklage in the coffee cup today. Bodie, what you got to do is you got to get the Xbox Live Game Pass for $99 because that has all sorts of those throwback games that you can download. And I'm pretty sure the NCAA game is a part of that. So look, guys, we got a lot of football to talk about. We will talk about the Avocado League 2020 season in a little bit, but first we have to get to some pressing news that we were talking about before the show started. We will get back to Tommy's tweet and a sub debate from that, but Soup Plantation has closed down. So we moment of silence for a local institution. But
instead of moment of silence, should we do the coffin meme music together?
No, you have to tell me ahead of time if you want music, man. I do not know. I do not know how to load stuff. And I'm also leaving Zoom going. But we'll put it on the poll at SD Prep Insider. What do you miss the most, or what will you miss the most about Soup Plantation? Because I think I think we're going to get a wide variety here. I'm missing the blueberry muffins. Tommy, you said you were going to miss what was you say you were going to miss?
Can you hear this? The kids will get it. Whatever.
Fair enough.
Bo, did you hear it? No, Bo didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
All right, never mind. Whatever. I'm going insane. Don't let me drink this much coffee ever again. I'm going to miss the salad bar, specifically the Chinese chicken salad. And then my favorite part of that whole process was making the line wait for me while I picked out all the chicken pieces, which I'm sure everybody loved behind me in line. But I will miss that greatly. And then I'll also miss can I do more than one? Because I had a whole thing that I would do when I went there.
Yes.
Then I'd go get some pizza and chicken noodle soup with the huge noodles, and then I'd end it with chocolate pudding. So RIP Soup Plantation, I will miss you. Hopefully they find a way to sell that salad dressing in stores or something to salvage the brand a little bit. But also it's called Red Tomato too, or something like that. It has an
outside of California, yeah.
Yeah. So RIP to both.
Bodie, would you like to eulogize the muffins?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there with the blueberry muffins. That was kind of the highlight for me. There weren't great protein options. I did enjoy several of the soups. Probably chicken noodle was my favorite there, and the mac and cheese always. So, all
right. So I'm putting the options: salads, soups, blueberry muffins, or what's the fourth option that we're gonna miss the most? Desserts?
A soft serve machine has to be.
All right, we will ask that on the poll at SD Prep Insider on Twitter and Instagram is where you can find all these polls. Secondary poll question I want to get to is, Tommy, you said on Twitter earlier this week, and then you're getting ratioed, as you say, on Twitter right now because of your actually kind of controversial stance about not ever having seen nor ever wanting to see Star Wars.
Yeah, so May 4th was about a week ago now, and I've never seen a Star Wars, and somebody had posted a picture that was maybe Joe Burrow's room with a bunch of Star Wars, I'll call them dolls. I don't know what the
action figures.
Okay, cool. Dolls.
Action.
And okay, cool. So Star Wars dolls. And the guy who actually, it's at his actual room, said, hey, this is actually my room, not Joe Burrow's. And then I just simply pointed out, imagine admitting to having all these Star Wars dolls, to which he pointed out, let me read it verbatim because it is it's a kick in the groin a little bit. Imagine being so insecure you find issue with someone just expressing their blank word with an S they enjoy. So that is blowing up right now.
To follow this up, though, I found myself outnumbered because Bodie jumped in and said that you as well have not seen one nor have no interest. So, Tommy, you're now well-versed because you've taken it to Twitter. But, Bodie, explain your rationale behind not having any interest at all in Star Wars.
The whole just fantasy doesn't do it for me, just the genre in general. There's not too many that have interested me. I guess Lord of the Rings I've seen, and I'm cool with those. But outside of that, whether it's Star Wars, Harry Potter, doesn't do it for me.
Fair enough.
So can I ask you guys a question? Is this a witty, funny, like cool, trolly response? I wanted to respond like, I don't live in fantasy lands. I read books. I suggest these, and then just listing off a bunch of books that were turned into movies.
Sure. Okay, so I have seen all of them. I have all of the action figures. I was that guy.
Dolls.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you know what? Hey, maybe I'm a hypocrite because I have a bunch of bobbleheads. So is it really different? No, but
I have there are slight differences. Contextual and otherwise. Bobblehead's a little bit more towards the center of the norm. But yeah, because bobbleheads you don't leave in the box. I think that's probably the big difference. You don't leave in the box and say, "Oh, it's a mint condition bobblehead." You take the bobbleheads out and you put them on the wall. You enjoy them. So, okay, guys, let's get into it. We got the Avocado League that last year produced an open division finalist in Carlsbad. The year before, it was an open division finalist in Torrey Pines. And last year, and I'm thinking now, Ocean, like a lot of good football comes out of here. I think that the memes are always that, it's Avocado versus Western kind of for who's the best league in San Diego. I don't pretend to debate that because we just want to talk about a little bit of football previews. So right now we're going to talk about Carlsbad, El Camino, LCC, Mission Hills, Oceanside, San Marcos, and Torrey Pines. We'll start alphabetically this time, and we'll go with Carlsbad, last year's open division finalists. Tommy Morris, because this is probably you're probably so pumped up to talk and ready to go with all that coffee in your blood. Let's get your take on the Carlsbad Lancers in 2020.
Yeah, and the anger too. Never schedule a game at Marshall after a game at Michigan. It's going to be a
trap game.
Lost that game. Absolutely a joke. I think this is going to be another good team. Aiden Sane, great quarterback. He also has who I believe to be the best quarterback coach in San Diego, and Jose Moeller. Shout out Jose. Last year, the thing I like about a junior coming back, only 8 interceptions to 24 touchdowns. I like that ratio. It always improves going from junior to senior year because you get more experience, so the mistakes lower. I think the yards will go up too. 2,349 yards last year in 12 games. That will improve. They're going to have to find someone else to give the ball to on the ground. My assumption is that it's going to be Norwood Mazio, who's going to get the ball the majority of the time on the ground now. He had 63 carries last year. A lot of really good returning players. So, I mean, obviously they're going to have to replace Wright, who's not going to be back. He's going to go play in college. Congratulations to him. But it doesn't scare me. It's a big school. They have a large program. They will find kids to plug and play on offense. It'll be another very good team, another team that I think has a good shot to win it this year.
Bodie De Silva.
Yeah, so you talk about all the receivers they lost. Obviously, Cole Wright, 2 breakout seasons there, heading up to Boise. He'll be fun to watch. And I think Aiden Sayin it will improve despite not having a ton of guys returning around him. Defensively, Josh Davis was really good as a sophomore, third in tackles. I think he'll step up and they lose a lot of linebackers, so they're going to have to find some guys there. The younger brother of Aiden Sayin, Julian, will be a freshman. Already has an offer, and I expect him to be one of the best quarterbacks to come out of San Diego once we get to watch him these next 4 years.
To me, this is potentially Carlsbad just flip-flops with Oceanside in terms of Carlsbad goes into the D1 finals and Oceanside moves into the Open Division finals. What? Say what? Who said that? Look, to me, the big thing is that over the last couple of years, Carlsbad has had several linemen continuously every year going to some sort of Big West, Mountain West type school. Like, they have the good line to produce those numbers. So that's where I'm actually worried about the fall-off. I don't think that Coach Mack is ever going to struggle with replacing defensive parts, coming up with good schemes. To me, it's just, do you have that tonnage, that weight up front to get it done still? So I see a little bit of a drop-off, but I think they're still going to be a really good team, and perhaps fortuitous of friendly fire with how crowded this division is going to be. Next team we got up is El Camino. Let's start with you, Bodie De Silva.
Yeah, so they came on strong last year, ended up big second half comeback to win the D2 championship there. It seemed like the offense really opened up once Kai Reed came over and took over the quarterback spot there. They do lose a lot of impact offensive linemen and defensive linemen in graduation. Jacob Gathright and Noah Sager are 2 guys that I expect to have big senior seasons. And I think El Camino will improve. Obviously 2-4 in the league last year, but end of the day, they accomplished their goal there in D2.
Tommy Morris.
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to be a team. They were 2-4 last year. I think they'll be in league. They'll probably be about the same this year. Always a team that brings a big line of physical kids, so they're always going to be in every game. There's not going to be any blowouts for these guys this year. They're going to be in every game, but I think they just don't have the same dynamic playmakers that the other schools in this league have. But this will be a very good team. I think 2 or 3 wins, very realistic.
So I've given up on kind of trying to understand the win-loss record at El Camino, because I feel like both times that they have won a CIF championship in recent memory, it has come off the back of everybody sort of being like, well, that's a discarded bottom of the league team that is just kind of getting trashed. And to me, it's you sometimes do have to actually really dive into strength of schedule and look and be like, okay, if you lose by 4 touchdowns to a team that ends up going to the Open Division championship and you're a D2 team, that's not bad. That's right where you want to be. That's right where you need to be. So I look at that and I go, they've got the experience returning from Kai Reed, and that offense is going to hopefully not miss a beat, not have to take that run up at the start of the season. So I see non-league wins and this team over 500 and being surprisingly good by the end of the season. We'll go next to La Costa Canyon. We'll go Mavs. Coach Sovacool always with something huge. Like, there's been a signature win every single season the last couple of years that reminds you that this is a team that can be dangerous at any moment. Bodie De Silva, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so they're going to have to replace quarterback Schleicher. He's headed to USD. Trevor Gonzalez also headed to USD. Ozzie Nicholas headed to Princeton. So a lot of impact guys that are moving on. They do have Aiden Lippert, though, returning a really big offensive weapon. I think they're going to rely on him, but they're going to have to find guys to step up around them. And I'm not – I mean, they always will find guys defensively, come in, fit the scheme, and play hard that way. So I think 3-3 is probably another kind of result that I see for them, which is what they did last year, and maybe improve on the overall record of 7-5.
I'll just throw this on the poll at SD Prep Insider. Does it feel right to have a Lippert on the LCC football team? Tommy Morris.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a Lippert. Maybe they have they don't have a younger sibling, right? We're out of Lipperts at this point.
Think so.
That's too bad. Yeah. So if you look at their roster from last year, a lot of juniors and seniors, very few sophomores. Obviously, you're not going to get very many freshmen in varsity anyway. So you're going to have a lot of kids from JV coming on up. They were 6-4 on the JV level last year. In league, they only lost to Mission Hills and Carlsbad on the JV level, which I think is a good sign. So it means the kids that are coming up that are going to be playing at the varsity level are at the same level as the kids that will be coming up in the other programs. So LCC is never going to have a lack of kids or talent. It's always going to be a very talent-rich school because they are a big school and they do have that rich program. As you said, Lippert coming back. Quarterback situation scares me a little bit, but I think much like El Camino, this is going to be a 2 or 3 win in league team.
So to me, what I look at this, and Bodie, I hear you mention the 3 names that you drop about them going on to college. We did not end up getting a ton of Ozzie Nichols every season. Like, he was always a little bit banged up, or there was some sort of situation preventing him from being there all season. So I don't think the graduation is going to hurt them as hard as people are thinking. I get name brand loss, and I get losing somebody that is in the public eye, but to me, sometimes that almost helps the rest of the team, because there's not we're looking interior to have Ozzie fix this for us, or we're looking deep for Trevor to only be our source, and it spreads the danger around. And you can always, I think you can always trust that Coach Sovukul coaches with no ego. He gets out of his own way and he goes, let's figure out the scheme season to season. So I look at, if I'm going to give out my patented dark horse award, I would say look out for LCC being an absolute home wrecker and destroying some people's seasons down the road because they were not appropriately prepared for. Next team up we got is Mission Hills. The Grizzlies, potentially with some new quarterbacking this year, are going to be very dangerous because they've got Mikhail Soto and some other people that seem to be picking up a ton of offers. I don't know. That's why I have you. We will start with Mr. Battlehawk himself, Tommy Morris.
RAP XFL too, man. I miss the XFL.
Put it on the poll. Do you miss the XFL?
I miss the XFL. I think this is going to be a good team. The quarterback, I think, is probably going to change. I think it's going to be they're going to go with who was a freshman last year, a now sophomore, and Russell Chavez, I think, is probably going to win that job, as we were talking about before this, with a transfer from another player. So that is, I think they're kind of in good hands. It's going to be a lot for a sophomore to handle, but I think he can handle it. He's not built like a sophomore, if that makes any sense. He's big enough to be one of the older kids. And, they've got some good pieces returning. They've got Soto, I'm sorry, I'm going to screw your name up, but good middle linebacker over there, number 11 for the Grizzlies. Jaden Latua coming back as well. He was only a sophomore last year, going to be a junior. I expect big things for him on the defensive side of the ball as well. So this is going to be a team, even if the offense isn't humming, they'll be fine on defense. And I think this is a team that 5 wins last year in the league, very realistic again this year.
I'm going to put it on the poll at SD Prep Insider. Should high school sports have a transfer portal? Because I feel like that would be a good asset for us. Bodie De Silva.
Yeah, building on what Tommy said, assuming that Russell Chavez takes over at quarterback, I think defensively, I expect them to have one of the best defenses in the county. Jason Boyle, Jaden Latua, Mikhail Soto, Alicia Lloyd's been picking up a ton of offers here recently, so I expect that unit to be really good. And then even special teams, Sky Donnell returned 5 punts for touchdowns last year. So I think even if they're kind of struggling or average offensively, those other 2 groups will pick up the team. And I think that Mission Hills and Oceanside is really the battle to take this league.
Also, they have a defensive back named Ricky Williams, so that is a good omen.
I feel like there's somehow I want to make an Obina joke, but I don't know. We'll go to Oceanside next because you just talked about – no, I want to say this for Mission Hills. It's interesting that in the span of the 5 years that we've been doing this, that they've gone from Olave and Tuttle and just a juggernaut offensive winning team to now we're talking about them being a juggernaut defensive winning team. And to me, that's a huge compliment and reflection of Coach Hauser and his staff's ability to just be like, look, whatever's coming in, we're going to really pump that up and we're going to win with that. So you mentioned, though, Bodie, Mission Hills versus Oceanside being the big battle. Your take on the Oceanside Pirates?
Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement that Helix, assuming all those transfers are cleared, is our preseason number 1. I have Oceanside as my preseason number 2. When you look at what they did last year,
because of that tape,
that and I had to charge it, so it's sitting on top of his charger right now. So that might happen again.
All right, Bodie, keep going.
Yeah, so Jacob Harris, first year as a starting quarterback, really good numbers. He returns off, obviously, and then you have at running back Kavika Tua, a huge year last year, almost 9 yards per carry, over 2,200 yards. Definitely, I mean, a front runner for an all CIF first team and potentially player of the year there. They return 2 really good receivers, Nicholas Williams and Cameron Beecham. Defensively, they lose a bunch of key guys. Jalen Ramsey's gone. His brother Sean is back as their second leading tackler. But I expect this Oceanside team, as Kavika said last year, Oceanside's back. So I'd have them at number 2 and see if we can relive those old Helix Oceanside battles.
Bruh, yes. I feel like somehow we should figure out a way to have like a 4-team game being played, like a cage match of Oceanside, Helix, Mission Hills, and then one team that's kind of an underdog, but just like there should be like a 4-team throwdown for the championship. Tommy Morris, your take on the Oceanside Pirates?
Huge fan of what they've got going on. You mentioned Jacob Harris, probably I think can end up being an FCS type quarterback. Big kid, he's 6'2", over 200 pounds, and can really throw the ball. And it's always nice to have a big, durable quarterback because then he can run. Everyone runs with a quarterback now, so it's nice to have a quarterback who can not only take hits but also deliver some as well. So you like to see that. Beecham, his brother was amazing, and he's looking like kind of the same mold, if not even better. I don't want to start a fight in the Beecham household. But
No. There will be nobody that ever supplants Kyron Beecham just because he got radio. I don't know if you remember when he was in studio with us.
I remember.
That dude was hilarious. He got everything about our show. So, no, he takes all the spots.
So Kavika too. I mean, the good thing here. So Kavika too is definitely, he played both sides of the ball last year. I assume he's going to do the exact same thing this year. It will take a lot of load off his shoulders if some other guys on offense can, hold the ball, carry the ball, get some touches, so that he can focus on defense as well. So if I had to give a preseason 2-way player of the year, it's going to be Kavika Tua. So I mean, then that's the best praise I can give any football player, because you can put him at any position and he can do it. I bet if you put him at left guard, he could do it too. So you've got a lot of kids that are just good football players on the team, which is scary. Again, much like between Mission Hills, Oceanside, and Carlsbad, you're going to have a 3-dog race here for this league. And I think all these guys could beat each other. I could see them all splitting it and all going 5-1. So it's going to be a fight at the top for the Avocado.
Should I put it on the poll at SC Prep Insider? Do you want to see Kavika Tua kick a field goal this year?
Definitely.
I bet he could do it from like 50 yards. I've never seen him kick before, but I bet he could do it. Full faith.
All right, I'm going to put that on the poll at SD Prep Insider on Twitter and Instagram. Okay, so look, I said my take earlier. They're going to be in the Open Division Finals. Everything, there's the sniff test, the sight test, the litmus test, the Rorschach test. You throw any test at this, and to me, this team looks, feels, smells, sound like they are a football team in the most classic sense of it. And I absolutely am done being the idiot that goes against Oceanside. It's very uncomfortable at the end of these championship run seasons to be that guy that's like, hey, can I get an interview? When they're like, you're a dick, man. We don't want to talk to you. So look, man, they're good. They're great. If they go 10-0 or 3-0, because we don't know when the season's going to necessarily start. I don't know, but I don't see this team having very many L's on the year. Let's keep it going. We've got the San Marcos Knights, second year for their new head coach as he starts to build up the program in the direction that he would like to go with it. Tommy Morris, we start with you.
San Marcos Knights. All these programs very similar in the fact that they are big schools, a lot of kids. Emmett Brown leaving, so that's kind of a bummer for them. He would have been a player, but not to worry. Carter Schultz, also a good quarterback. He got a little bit of experience last year, not that much, but enough to where he's not going to be rattled when he has to step in there. So always a big question mark there when you have a younger guy trying to step into that role. Caden Von Out, the running back, who they never run really. They don't really run unless it's the quarterback. Emmett Brown led them in rushing touchdowns, but what I do like about having a running back as a sophomore, got a lot of experience in this offense. You need one that can block and pass protect, and just being out there and taking those reps on the varsity level is going to help a lot. So he's also the guy who's standing right next to the quarterback, so he can help out if there's anything that needs to be said to the quarterback pre-snap. So I like that. It's going to help Schultz out when he does get in there. So I think San Marcos is a good team. I already kind of buried the lead here by saying those other 3 are going to be at the top of the league, but I think San Marcos is going to fit right in the middle there. I think 3 wins in the league for these guys.
Odie De Silva.
Yeah, they obviously had so many key seniors: Gavin Chervany, Jalen Boehner, Xavion Reese, JT Dozier, all those guys moving on. So I'll be curious to see who really steps up in that mold. They did have Jake Bolin, second leading tackler with them last year as a sophomore, had 75. So I think that's a key defensive piece to build on. But obviously losing Emmett Brown, who had all that experience, it's tough to work in a new QB. But I'm sure they've gotten on and getting into all those Zoom meetings now and putting in the offense, and we'll see that they got a lot of rebuilding to do.
So to me, San Marcos' team this year brings up a little bit of an existential question about the bigger picture of how the division systems and everything work. Is it really worth it this season for San Marcos to, put in all of their effort, balls to the walls, to go 4-6, 5-5? Or is it a season where you just go young, you commit to young, you go 2-8, you get that experience, you get that build up, you don't have any of those expectations, and you just say, hey, look, this is 2022's season, 2023's season. Let's just learn, no pressure on wins loss. I don't know. I don't pretend that there's a universal way to, look at that, because it's disrespectful to see. To me, that's just one of these ongoing kind of debates and philosophical questions, because I look at this as, if I was San Marcos, I would say, let's really build for the future. Let's get all the youth in here to start on varsity, get them a ton of experience so that in 2 years we have an unstoppable juggernaut. That being said, I'm not the coach. Tommy is the only actual football coach here, so I won't actually pretend that I have any relevant experience as to how to organize that kind of stuff. And I will move on to our final team, the Torrey Pines Falcons. There's a lot of layers here.
Yes.
I personally am very interested in to me, what is the biggest plot of San Diego high school football this season, and that is, sort of a parallel to the Belichick and Brady thing. A dynamic duo that is a proven winner breaks apart. Questions are, who made who? Did one make the other, or is that a complete irrelevancy? Tyler Buckner and his offensive coordinator, Danny Charles Mitchell, both departed from the Bishop School. Buckner heading to Helix. Danny Charles Mitchell heading to Torrey Pines to run the offense. We're going to find out. Was one the product of the other? Are they both superstars in their own right? I don't pretend to know, but that's what I'm going to be watching for this season. Danny's an offensive quarterback, throw the ball deep down the field, creative underneath. He's a guru of what I don't know if I see so much of the air raid certification jokes memes going on the last couple of days.
I fueled those. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that Danny's any sort of, he's this raid specialist or he's that kind of specialist, but he's a guy who, he's clearly thinking outside the box, and I think it's a very strong reflection on Gladnick to welcome in that kind of a mindset to an offense that traditionally has been, a monster truck rally running up the middle with that wing T. So we saw at the beginning of last season some really big wins in the non-league. I want to say it was Los Alamitos that Torrey Pines opened up the season with a win against last year. So we know that the pieces exist from last year's team to get big wins. They're all a year older. They're stronger. They're bigger. Just based off of the meat that Gladnick cooks up, that his kids eat like that caveman diet. They eat well. So they're going to get bigger. They're going to get stronger. How is this all going to get adopted into the new offensive look? I have zero inclination that I actually know what this is going to end up looking like. This is what I'm focusing on with the Torrey Pines plot this season. Bodie De Silva.
Yeah, so when you look back at last year, they had to deal with the losses of Mac Bingham, Jason Hine, the big offensive lineman from the year before, all that. So
put it on the poll. It's Mac Bingham's adorable smile.
1-5 in league, 5-1 outside of league. So a lot of those guys are coming back. They return 4 or 5 offensive linemen. You return your sophomore quarterback. You return literally every receiver, get guys back healthy. It really made sense with Danny Mitchell coming in, because running back, which is typically the heavily used position within their offense, is not the strength. It's going to be the receivers, as I throw my dog's toy, that will be of importance for next year. So I'm really interested to see the offense. Obviously, you talk about, was it Tyler? Was it Danny? I think it'll be both. I expect their offense to be really fun next year. And defensively, Marco Notriani returns, leading tackler. Mo Vanderwill, 5 interceptions. He returns. So I think it's a team that'll definitely improve. The question is, in this league, I think the whole league is going to improve after, I don't want to say a down year in the Avocado League last year, because 2 of them did win CIF titles, but I just don't think it was as great as years prior. I think a huge bounce back this year. it's just tough to mark them for maybe a top 2 or 3 spot when you look at what these other teams have.
Fair enough. Tommy Morris.
It's going to be a transition year for them. They're going to be kind of hurt by this whole coronavirus thing because they're not going to get to practice. And like Bodie said, all indications are they're going to not run the wing team anymore. They're going to be a spread offense. I think that they have the quarterback to handle it. Braden Fowler can probably – I think he can do it. He started last year as a sophomore. So similar situation. You have a younger kid. Not the best year for Torrey Pines last year, but he's used to being under the lights, taking the hits and all that kind of stuff. So even though the offense is different, he's not going to be shy out there. He's going to know what it feels like to play a varsity football game. Another interesting little twist for them, too. They have their first game is scheduled at Hawaii. Given this whole pandemic thing, I don't know if they're going to be able to travel there, so they might have to change that game. They've got their what is now like an annual thing game against San Clemente, which will be tough. But it'll be a good way for them to kind of gauge what they're going to look like. I think they're 1 year away still. I think they're 1 year away. You have a quarterback who's going to be a junior. When Fowler's a senior, they're going to be a good team because he's going to have 2 years full experience under his belt, and then a lot of the younger kids are going to be older too. I think senior year, or for him, which will be next year. What is next year counted as next year? Is this 2 years ago? What am I talking? Next year, 2020, then 2021. I'm talking about 2021. Did I just get time warp there? 2021 is going to be a good – too much coffee, sorry. 2021 is going to be a good year for the Falcons. I think they're 1 year away. This is a team probably 2 or 3 wins in league. They will – again, there's 3 that I already told you about going to compete for the top. The other 3 are going to be competing for those bottom spots. You're going to have like 2 layers of this Avocado League. They are going to be towards the middle of the bottom layer, and then next year, 2 years from now, they're going to be competing for league championship.
Tommy, I think that's it.
Any of that makes sense.
Tommy, okay, look. Folks, here is the beauty of this show. I try to be the organizational stiff man who corrals all the cats. Bodie plays the very traditional reporter role, and Tommy Morris is Leroy Jenkins. He just starts screaming and running, but occasionally he strikes absolute gold. Case in point, he starts the show with a question, does time make sense anymore? And he ends the show with a debate about, does time make sense anymore? Somehow, this masterclass level.
It's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. All the parts intertwine and they fit at the end.
Yeah, so this is where I'll just kind of stare like, and then we'll play the music and that'll be the end of the show. No, folks, this is unscripted brilliance. This is Tommy Morris at his true finest. We appreciate that, my man.
But going back to your original question, I think it'd be awesome if Helix played Torrey Pines in the playoffs somehow.
Yes.
That'd be epic.
First round open.
It's not in the schedule. Or unless actually, you know what? Who does Helix play week 1?
They're up in LA. Alamany, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Dang it. I was gonna say for some reason Helix, because this is my original path. So if for some reason Torrey Pines couldn't travel to Hawaii and Helix can travel to their opening game. They both have an opening date.
Maybe there's a ruling that you can only play within your section. We never know.
Yeah, it could happen. So I'm just throwing it out there for the Helix coaching staff, the Torrey Pines coaching staff. If by chance there's some rule they can only play within your section and you both have that open date, why not?
So Bodie, Bodie and Tommy, in the realm of you're talking hypothetical non-league, non-section, all sorts of changes as my internet seems to start to lag here on me. Are there, Bodie, had you said something about the open division potentially changing to 4 teams? Are there changes like that down the road?
No, I mean, we're at 4 now.
Or back to, did I see something about that, or am I thinking a different sport?
Southern section changed something.
A Southern section change.
Yeah.
Right, never mind. Forget I said.
I mean, I prefer the 8, but yeah, I mean,
it's a good Christian. It's a good point because a lot of times Southern section will change something and then we get it a year later. So
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, and Bodie, you can correct me because you probably know better than I do. Southern section is changing it to where their divisions are calculated after the season. So they take like the ranking points and then they re-rank them all again and then put them in whatever division they belong in. So you won't end up with a thing. We have a team in Division 4 that is like 20 points better than anybody else and like 20 points better than anyone in Division 3. They bumped them up already for that playoffs. Am I close on this, Bodie?
That's how I've kind of understood it.
Yeah, so it would not shock me if we saw something like that happen because it has never made sense to me. Open division to me means it's open for everybody, not just Division 1. So I've never understood why a Division II team couldn't end up in open if they had the points.
Yep.
So
that is it. We're already at a 45-minute show, so let's save that one for another debate and another day. Any closing notes on this particular league that we didn't get around to? Everybody feel like we got everything from the avocado?
Yeah. In case you're wondering, since we've been sitting here, the ratio has gotten worse for me. This guy's gotten 71 likes and I've gotten 0. So, oh well.
I think that it's interesting. You're just talking about likes and zeros. For the first time ever, we have a poll that has an option that has 0 points on or 0 votes for it, and that is
Marshall thing. Yeah, unless you're listening live.
Nobody else is worried about Marshall as the trap game, Tommy. You have let America down right now.
Oh boy. Okay, the comments are coming in real hot now too. This is getting bad.
All right, well, Tommy, we will let you go deal with your.
I can't. I'm just gonna leave it because I don't think I can recover from this. This is bad.
You know what the pivot needs to be is you need to start arguing that you're
no, the pivot needs to be. Didn't know this would blow up so fast. Here's my Instagram.
Yeah, nothing to sell. Here's my SoundCloud and Instagram. No, Tommy, I was gonna say you need to pivot and act like you're low key a Star Trek fan. And that's why you're hating on Star Wars.
Oh, what's the hand symbol for?
Yeah,
is there an emoji? Is there an emoji for this?
I don't know, but you just need to start. Like, I think that would be your troll. If you're not going to do the Instagram, like follow my SoundCloud and Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, your OnlyFans account or something like that. You just need to take the premise of like, I'm a Star Trek fan. Got y'all. But yeah, man, we'll let you go deal with that social media fallout. Bodie, it looks like you need to give some attention where it is due and much needed.
Yeah, she wants her ball thrown.
Deal. And I will just sit here alone like I always do in the studio, missing you guys, wait for everything to come back. I am Christian Pedersen. That is Bodie joining us on behalf of Scorebook Live. Tommy Morris is joining us on behalf of the East Dillon. What's their mascot? We'll call them the East Dillon Battlehawks. We'll call them the East Dillon.
No, they're the Tigers, right? No, they're the Tigers. Am I getting this wrong? Lions. Sorry, Lions.
I was merging the two teams that you're repping. The Golden State East Dillon Battlehawks.
East Dillon Lions.
Deal. The East Dillon Lions. And I am Christian Pedersen, your host that is slowly losing all concept of sanity. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will talk to you guys.